Most first-time founders think success comes from building the right product, but it doesn't. Startups don't fail because the idea was bad. They fail because they moved too slow to find out what actually works. While we are polishing features and debating strategy, faster teams are shipping, learning, and taking new markets. In the early stage, speed isn't an advantage, it's survival. Here is an example. In 2012, Twitter acquired a startup called Vine for $30 million before it even officially launched. And Vine was actually great. It let users shoot and publish 6-second videos. Simple interface, clean flow, solid execution, and it worked. But by 2016, it was gone. So what happened? Vine didn't fail because it was a bad product. It failed because it couldn't adapt fast enough. Users started behaving differently than expected. The team saw it, discussed challenges, but didn't move fast enough. Meanwhile, Instagram just shipped fast, messy, raw stories, and that was enough. While Vine was sinking, Instagram was moving, and that's how Vine lost the market. Here is another example. People forget TikTok started as Takata, an app for education. When the founders realized the learning aspect was total flop, they didn't double down on their vision. They watched the data, they saw the kids using the tool to lip-sync to 50-second songs and pivot in a matter of days. They didn't protect their educational ego, they changed the user's dopamine. The result? One is a case study in stagnation, the other is a $600 billion empire. So remember, the speed of adaptation, how quickly the founders accepted reality and reached to it, made the difference. Let me tell you what every first-time founder does. You find a problem, you get excited, you talk to 10 people and they all say, oh my god, I have this problem, I would 100% use it. Then you spend 3 months building it, you launch, but nobody showed up. And you're standing there thinking, what happened? They literally told me they wanted this. Here is the thing, your users aren't lying to you on purpose. They are lying because humans are terrible at predicting their own behavior. Every founder has heard these words. I would definitely use it. They won't. This is a huge pain point, not big enough to pay for. So the real risk isn't being wrong. You will be wrong. The real risk is spending months building something that proves it. Building a startup without speed is like flying a plane without instrumentals. You are moving, you are busy, but you have no idea if you are heading toward the destination or straight into the ground. Most first-time founders move slowly because they treat every decision like it's like life or death surgery. It's time to learn the Bezos door framework. Type 1, the one-way door. Irreversible decision. Choosing a co-founder, signing a long-term lease. Type 2, the two-way door. Reversible decisions. Changing your pricing, testing a landing page, shipping a raw feature. If it fails, you just walk back through. Move fast here. The failure point that most founders spend type 1 energy on type 2 problems. If you spend more than an hour debating your button color, you just burn a day of runway on a decision that takes 10 seconds to undo. The only metric that matters early, it's not the number of features, not design, not even growth. It's the speed of iteration. Imagine two teams. Team A ships once a month. Team B ships once a week. In 3 months, Team A has 3 experiments. Team B have 12 experiments. So who learns faster? Of course, Team B learns 4 times faster. They find out what's broken 4 times faster. They stop wasting money on useless features 4 times faster. Early stage speed isn't about productivity. It's about learning before you run out of cash. Speed is not a nice to have. It's your only real advantage because early stage startups don't win by being right. They win by being wrong faster than everyone else. Founders think the hardest part of building a startup is the code, the fundraising, the hiring. But It's not. The hardest part is shipping something you are not proud of yet and doing it anyway. Shipping an unpolished product feels embarrassing. You're worried people will think you are incompetent, but the longer you polish, the higher the chance you are polishing the wrong thing. Here is the psychological reality. Your users don't care about you. They care about their own problems, and if your ugly app solves their pain, they will use it. But if your perfect app doesn't solve their pain, they will ignore it. If you aren't embarrassed by the first version of your product, you ship too late. Embrace your ego death. Your job isn't to look like a genius, it's to be a scientist who iterates until they find out the truth. At the early stage, the best teams operate more like labs than companies. They don't build features, they run experiments. Every week looks the same, like ship Monday, talk to users Tuesday, build Wednesday, Thursday, keep it or kill on Friday. No long debates, just reality. But that only works if your team can say out loud, we spent 2 weeks on this, but nobody cares, so let's delete it. Most teams can't, and that's not a speed problem, that's a culture problem. And the same goes for the pricing. $19 or $29, monthly or weekly, it doesn't matter. The only correct price is the one someone pays. If changing a number on your pricing page takes 2 weeks, you don't have a pricing problem. You have a speed problem. Let me show you what slow actually costs. 3 real companies and 3 very different outcomes. Clubhouse, 2021, $4 billion valuation, invite only, iOS only, celebrities everywhere, hottest app on the planet. And they have one job, expand before anyone catches up. But they didn't. They spent over a year polishing the exclusive experience, and while they are doing that, Twitter built a clone in a few months and dropped it into the feed of hundreds of millions of existing users. No waitlist, no exclusivity, just here it is. By the time Clubhouse released an Android app, the pandemic was over and nobody cared. $4 billion because they confused polish with progress. Now Instagram. Most people don't know that before Instagram it was called Bourbon, a cluttered four-square clone going absolute nowhere. But system noticed one thing in data. Users kept coming back just to share photos with filters. Everything else they ignored. So he didn't fix Bourbon. He deleted almost everything they built and stripped it into 3 tabs: upload, filter, and share. That became Instagram. The lesson isn't just about speed. It's about having the courage to delete your own work. Discord. Jason's One was built in a mobile game in 2014. Polished, beautiful, but nobody playing it. During development, his team hated every communication tool available, so they hacked together their own just to survive the progress. When the game flopped, the side tool became Discord. Same pattern every time. The original product never mattered. What mattered was how fast each founder spotted the real signal and went all in on it. So ask yourself, what signal are you ignoring right now because you are too attached to the original plan? Okay, so everything we talk about sounds great in theory, but how do you actually build a team that moves this fast? Here is exactly how. First, forget departments. You need one small squad, 3 to 5 people. Developer, designer, one product person, total autonomy. No approval chains, no waiting for the CEO to sign off a button color. Every time someone has to ask for permission, that's a day of burn rate gone. Direction comes from the top. Execution belongs to the team. Second, make deleting a badge of honor. The most dangerous thing in your startup is a feature nobody used that everyone's too proud to kill. Fast teams celebrate the person who stands up and say, we spent 2 weeks on this. Data says nobody cares. Let's delete it. Third, if you haven't shipped anything by Friday, the week was a failure. It doesn't have to be something big. A landing page test, a pricing tweak, a bug fix. Just move the needle every single week. And fourth, talk to users directly. Not through dashboards, not through support tickets. Your developer and designer are on a call with a real user hearing real confusion. That's where actual insights come from. Don't get me wrong, quality quality matters, but only after you find product market fit. Before that, a perfect product nobody uses is worth $0. A raw ugly product with 10 obsessed users is a goldmine. And look at the companies that figure this out at scale. Amazon deploy code every 12 seconds. Spotify runs hundreds of experiments every year. Netflix is constantly A/B testing everything. They didn't choose between speed and quality. They built a system that allows both. So here's a virtually simple test. When was your last release? More than a week ago, you're slow. How long does it take from idea to user testing? More than 2 weeks, you're slow. When did you last kill a feature you built? Never? Then you're either lying to yourself or you are not listening to your users. Speed isn't a phase you go through early. It's a whole game. Your startup is not a it's a burning first. The fire is your burn rate, and the dynamite at the end is your bank balance hitting zero. You don't win by building the most beautiful polished bomb the world has never seen. You win by finding product market fit before the spark hits the powder. So here is your challenge. Open your Spring right now, find out one genius feature you've been over-engineering for weeks, strip it to its ugly functional core, ship it this week. If users hate it, you just say it's 3 months. If they love it, now you have something worth polishing. Your mantra for road ahead. Done is better than perfect. Learning is better than building, and a raw product in the hand of 10 real users is worth more than a perfect one sitting on your hard drive. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. Check the links below and follow us on social media for more tips and updates. And if you're ready to take your startup to the next level, visit molfar. We will help you build fast and smart. Catch you next time.